Hello world, welcome. It's Andy again. It's been a minute. Welcome back to Event Log. We haven't done this since July, I think, of this year. Had a couple of things I had to take care of. Still in the middle of moving arrangements, but I will be doing this a lot more often. So hopefully once a week. Count on that. At least count on me trying. We'll just do that. So Event Log, a weekly byte live. Whoa! I need to practice this. It's been a minute. A weekly bite-sized vlog where we cover the latest happenings in tech within 4 segments, sponsored by Team Logic IT, North San Antonio, your local IT provider, nationwide experience, and brainpower. So, you'll notice that I'm also not in camera, and that's okay, because I supplemented that with a picture of my face on the bottom right-hand corner. So you'll remember who's talking and, who's doing this whole thing. Anyway, segment 1. Let's get started. In Tech This Out, this website, Facebook whistleblower claims social network profits from hate speech. So I think something we can all get behind is the idea that a lot of these free social networks, if you're not paying for them, you're most likely the product, as in they're trying to create the most addictive experience for every user, however that might be. Interestingly enough, each one has its own algorithms, and they try to cater to your specific personality description. Everyone falls within certain buckets or multi-buckets that, reference each other within this algorithm. So you're not going to be getting the same content as Jimmy down the road. Jimmy has his own likes and interests, and these social media platforms are doing their best to aggregate information that you're going to find most interesting. And by information, I mean other people's posts. And unfortunately, this day and age, hate speech and things that make you more emotional are going to be what tend to draw people in and keep them in. So all these platforms are trying to keep your attention on them while they sell time to ads, rather other companies who are trying to buy ads. And these platforms promise that they have a specific demographic that might buy that product. And so it's all just, it's algorithms all the way down. So just understand that hate speech, it's not because Facebook prefers hate speech, but I would argue that hate speech is going to attract more attention for obvious reasons. And it doesn't seem like they're going to do much about it because it's still making them money. So take that for what it is. And we don't have to single out Facebook. I'm sure other companies have the same problem. It's just that Facebook is the biggest brand that we all know, and you can count on other companies having the same problems. So I don't have the solution, but let's at least not, sweep this under the rug. Cool. Heavy first segment. Great. That's how you know it's real. All right. Segment 2, hack attack. So ransomware is alwaise going to be with us as long as we have an internet and we have computers and we have valuable data, which will be forever. You're going to be ransomware, or you're at least going to be targeted. So that being said, police, authorities all over the world are doing their best to catch these criminals. But the problem with this, it's more like a game of whack-a-mole. You're going to catch a couple here and there, but the vast majority of them go uncaught because of how this scheme works, being that it's born of and exists in the internet. As long as you don't keep the fruit hanging high up enough, people are going to be hitting you with this ransomware stuff. So make it difficult enough, put enough friction between you and any ransomware attacks or hackers or whatever attack vector you might know of, or maybe even work on understanding your attack vectors. That's something that Team Logic can help you out with, by the way. Easy plug there. So this is in Ukraine. Arrest in September 28th. So something interesting. I mean, do scammers kind of, they don't mind living lavishly. I guess they know that their time on this world, or at least the life that they're trying to live, is going to be short. That's why I don't really understand these ransomware hackers. I think they're thinking up to the point of where they make a lot of money, but then afterwards they They must not understand how hard they have to work on OPSEC to not get caught. Always living a life looking over their shoulder just doesn't seem very, enticing to me. They're clearly smart. They could be a boon to society, but, it's unfortunately not well spent. Unfortunate. But yes, cover your tracks, or at least make it harder for hackers. Use your 2FA. Don't use easy passwords. Use a password manager, and then put a hard password behind the password manager so that you at least only have to remember one difficult password. Okay, next segment. Millibyte. Is this thing still on? It's been a minute, you can tell. The practice. All right, Millibyte. In this segment, Samsung company. Whoops. I need to go to the next tab. If you're familiar with Samsung, and you followed it since its humble beginnings, you might know that they used to sell produce. They were a food company, or rather, they were just a food store. This was in 1938, so 83 years ago, in Daegu, Japanese Korea. Wow, that's quite the history. So all of this to say, you can't really know what a company is gonna end up pivoting to. But more importantly, you have to be comfortable with pivoting if your company is going to stick around. Technology is always going to force you, or you're going to end up like Blockbuster. So, Samsung, cool. You went from selling apples to competing against apples. Nice. All right. Segment 4, Crypto Corner. All right. So, keeping consistent. The last time we did this, which was around July, we covered El Salvador accepting Bitcoin as their legal tender. That was quite the big deal. I think it's still a massive deal. But at this point, happy to say that they've onboarded 3 million people. Actually, I don't know the total people that make up El Salvador. But 3 million's pretty... Oh, here it is. Cool. The article did its job. So, for context, they have 6.5 million people in their country, which means 3 million is roughly half of the population is now onboarded to Bitcoin. I hope this is true. I hope the number is sound, right? That they got this number correctly. But if that's the case, it's a massive... It gives me a lot of optimism, because part of the problem with adopting Bitcoin is having to onboard people of different experience with technology onto a technology, if that makes any sense. So you kind of have to find the common denominator in a country or a country's citizenry, and hope that common denominator is able to understand the technology enough to just use Bitcoin. I mean, I'm not saying that they have to understand how Bitcoin works. Most people don't, but at least being able to use it safely, comfortably, and keeping their funds secure, that's what's most important here. And I would say that this Chivo wallet is what they're using. I think it's a nationally syndicated or created wallet. Partially on board with that concept, but at the end of the day, I mean, if they're using Bitcoin, that's good. Ideally, using an app that is the most decentralized, that is the most without any kind of control or coercion, is always going to be best. But this is a step in the right direction. This is good for Salvador, good for Bitcoin, and of course the world. If you get the reference, good. If you don't, that's okay. Yeah. Wow, that was fun. I miss doing this. I'm gonna do it again next week. Thank you very much. Again, this has been Event Log, brought to you by Team Logic IT San Antonio, local IT provider, nationwide experience and brainpower. Andy Gonzalez signing out. Until next time, bye.